Hello, BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing my Nonfiction November TBR. Nonfiction November is a storied BookTube event in which participants read nonfiction in the month of November. If you don't read any nonfiction, you try some nonfiction. If you read a little nonfiction, you read a little bit more. And if you read a whole lot of nonfiction, well, read a whole month's worth of nonfiction. My goal is to read a whole month's worth of nonfiction. I've done this off and on for the past few years, and I've immensely enjoyed it. This year, I have a bit of a theme that I'm going to be tackling for my Nonfiction November, ancient history. And then, so I'll talk a bit about that, and then if I have any extra time at the end of the month, I have a few books that will I'll read that aren't ancient history. Dang pop-up. Okay, so the first two books I'll show are forthcoming releases. They release on November 1st, although one I might get a little bit earlier than that. But the other one definitely will be November 1st. So I'll probably read them. Ideally, the one maybe a little bit like first, but if not, then it'll be second or third. So anyway, but the first book I'll show you is Tutankhamun's Trumpet, Ancient Egypt and 100 Objects from the Boy King's Tomb by Toby Wilkinson. Toby Wilkinson is a wonderful writer on ancient Egypt. I've enjoyed a number of his books, and I'm quite looking forward to it. This is basically a book that examines 100 objects found in Tutankhamun's tomb and what they were used for, what their significance was, why exactly Tutankhamun had them in his tomb, that sort of thing. The other book explores Tutankhamun's predecessors, Akhenaten and Nefertiti, who may or may not have been Tutankhamun's immediate successor under a different name. But the book is Egypt's Golden Couple, When Akhenaten and Nefertiti Were Gods on Earth by John Darnell and Colleen Darnell. I'm quite looking forward to this one. And those are all the forthcoming books. The physical books I have right now, obviously I will be getting the physical copies of both Tutankhamun's Trumpet and Egypt's Golden Couple, but I don't have them yet. The ancient histories that I have right now are Weavers, Scribes, and Kings, A New History of the Ancient Near East by Amanda H. Podany. This is a history of the ancient Near East that includes certainly Mesopotamia, probably goes into the Anatolia, perhaps even touches on Egypt, and looks at it through basically average people and what their lives were like, which is something that's, very little research has been on, or evidence historically has survived, although a number of that is evidence has surfaced or been discovered, and this book looks to utilize that, and I'm really looking forward to it. This will likely be the first book I read for Nonfiction November. And I plan to do a review of this book since it came out this year, as well as Tutankhamun's Trumpet and Egypt's Golden Couple. Next up is Lives of the Ancient Egyptians by Toby Wilkinson. Again, this is basically what life was like in ancient Egypt. And I will be rounding out my ancient history with In the Land of a Thousand Gods, A History of Asia Minor and the Ancient World by Christian Marek in collaboration with Peter Frei and translated by Stephen Rendall. So this is an ancient history of Anatolia, what's now Turkey, from its historical beginnings up through the Roman period. And so that's ancient history. If I have any extra time in November and I don't burn out, which is always a possibility, I do tend to burn out towards the end of November. So hopefully I don't, but just in case, I'll do something else. But if everything goes well and I have time, I'll get to these 3 books. First up is Miracles of Our Own Making, A History of Paganism by Liz Williams. This is a history of paganism. I want to say it's mostly about more recent paganism. But anyway, I haven't really dipped into it. Looking forward to it. Next up is, once again, Legacy of Violence, A History of the British Empire by Caroline Elkins. This is a history of the British Empire with a special focus on the British Empire's predatory nature. And finally, Our First Civil War, Patriots and Loyalists in the American Revolution by H.W. Brands. Been meaning to get to this since it came out last year. What I won't be looking at probably will be Collapse, The Fall of the Soviet Union by Vladislav M. Zubok. I finished what I was reading this weekend a little bit early, and so I decided to, instead of starting one of the fiction works I had on the docket, I would try this or return to this, and it didn't go so well. So I think this is going to be set aside for quite a while. Again, I see why the Kindle Prize selected it for one of the 3 finalists, but it really needed a livelier style. Anyway, so that's my nonfiction November plans. I'll be back tomorrow with another nonfiction-centric tag. I saw one Saturday that Steve Donahue did that sounds like a lot of fun, so I'll be thinking about what my top 10 nonfiction books are, although, as Steve mentioned, the list isn't definite, and I will emphasize that point tomorrow. Wednesday, I don't know what video I would be doing, maybe another tag video, maybe a discussion if I can manage one, and Thursday, again, not sure, and then Friday, of course, will be weekly reads. So until I see you tomorrow, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.